So when to start with email is really a good question. And some people do think, oh, well, I've got to have a substantial list before I really get going. But I would say that's not the case at all. I would say start now, wherever you are right now. Even if you haven't launched your business yet, you can actually start building an audience that is going to respond to you when you do have sales information to send out. If you start straight away, even if you've only got like 2 people on your list. And the great thing about starting then is that you can practice and you can refine things, and you can get used to doing great email marketing without making a mess of things with a huge number of people. It's a great idea to actually just, like, wherever you are right now, get started if you haven't done already. I think that issue of the type of business, and I think it goes beyond as well just the e-commerce and brand building. There's also the kind of the business to consumer, and then there's the business to business, and whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business, all of those things affect the way that you should be doing email marketing. But the great thing about it is that you can actually let your customers lead you quite effectively with that. So you need to look at the kinds of questions that you're getting from your customers, the kinds of things that they're asking you about, and the kinds of things that they're looking for on your website as well. And then you can respond to that through email. You can also lead them in a direction that you want them to go as well. So I would say for any business, unless your whole business is based on just sending out offers, then I would say, you don't want to just be sending special offer emails. And that's one of the first mistakes that people make when they start email marketing. They think that that's, every time we send out an email, we have to have a special offer. And it's just not the case. I think you want to mix up your content a little bit. So some of it is about your products or services. Some of it is about, education around those things and the problems that they solve for people. And then some of it's also a little bit about you, because certainly the trend that I'm seeing across all marketing at the moment, but particularly like the heavy engagement type, so your social media and your email in particular, and forums and that kind of stuff, is that people actually want to know a little bit about the business itself and about the people behind the business, and they like that human touch. So I would recommend split it into a couple of different buckets, and you don't have to put each one of those different types of content into the same email either. You could have, 1 week you send something that's a little bit, something that's going on with the business, and then the next week you send something that's more of a case study or something that's a little bit more service or product focused. Is there a best time to send an email? The answer is yes, but it doesn't fit everybody. So there is a best time and a best day for you to send. And it depends on your business and it depends on your audience, and I cannot tell you what that is because you have to actually try it. So what I often recommend is just doing some simple split testing. So, the first time you do that split test, you're wanting to work out what's the best day of the week. So say you pick one time, say 11 a.m., for talking sake, and you send out exactly the same email to different groups within your list, on Monday through Saturday, if you have enough people to split it that way. Take the one that's got the highest response rate, and remember, you don't just want to look at how many people opened it, you also want to look at how many people took the action that you want them to take, so the click-through rate. And then the next time round, you pick that day that got the best response and try, 3 or 4 different times with the same segments, see what happens. That's going to give you your best indication. But also, there's no point choosing that and then sticking to that for the next 5 years, because that's going to change over time, because people's habits change as well. So you do need to test fairly regularly, I would say at least annually, if you're doing it yourself. I think inserting a name into an email is a start. I would say definitely if you're going to do that, certainly for the way that I respond to email, I only want my first name in there. First name, surname, it makes it sound like, my mother is telling me off. Dear Tamsin Fox-Davies, it's like, whoa, back off a minute. Unless you're in a professional type of organisation where the culture states that you should say, Dear Mrs. Fox-Davies, for example. So yeah, I would say starting with a name is good, and it does still increase the response rates that you get, but the impact of that is declining because people know that that's what's happening. People know that it's technology, but we're all hardwired from the day that we're born to respond to our names, so it still has value. But what you want to do much more than that is actually look at what specific people want to hear about and then target that content to them. Now, you can use technology to help you do that automatically if you've got the money to spend on doing that, or you can do it very, very simply yourself just by asking your subscriber base, send them an update preferences email and say, which topics do you want to hear about? Let them tick which ones they want, and then split out your database that way. And it really doesn't require that much work. So if people are doing their own email marketing, they're worried that this is going to be a lot of extra effort. It actually is quite simple. Once you've got those segments worked out, and you know that, say you're emailing once a month, you just need to pop in one different content item for each segment. It's not that hard. That question, is it worth it question? Do you know what? Try it. So I'm ex-Constant Contact, brilliant company, particularly if you're a small business getting started. So we don't Constant Contact, they don't currently price in euros, but I know that they start at £15 a month. So that's what, 20 euros a month, something like that. It's not expensive, and they give a lot of support for that. With MailChimp, you can start for free, but you don't get any support. So it's entirely up to you. I would say give it a try, see what happens, you will get results. The data that I've seen from the UK Direct Marketing Association last year said that for every £1 spent on email, on average, brands get £38 back. Now, the actual return rate, when I looked at the data, varied between £5 for every £1 spent and £75 for every £1 spent. But you know what? If you're getting £5 back from every £1, that's still pretty damn good. In fact, that's amazing. If you're looking at comparing that to any other digital marketing medium, it's the one that's going to give you the highest rate of return in terms of sales. Now, that doesn't mean you can rely on email on its own, because you need the other mediums to feed it and to reinforce it as well. It's all part of an ecosystem. But if you're choosing where to put your money, I would say it's well worth a go. And if you do it well, you will see a response. And what I mean by doing it well is just listening a little bit to your audience and just sending out some fairly regular, and when I say regular, I mean like monthly or maybe fortnightly or weekly. That's any of those frequencies is fine. Don't do less frequently than monthly, because it's just not worth it. People will forget about you. But if you can do, say once a month, you send out a simple update, you will find that it does actually help build relationships and gets your existing customers to come back to you again. And repeat customers spend more money as well, which is very important.